Hey, how's it going everybody? It's V here again. So in this video, I am going to be showing you all of my manga pickups for April and May of 2017. Now, if you saw my little update video, I had to take a little bit of a hiatus for a couple of months due to some personal unforeseen issues that came up, and it was just, I knew it was going to be impossible to make a video, and I probably should have posted an update sooner, but you know, one thing led to another and life just happens. That's just how it goes. So, but anyway, you guys don't want to hear about that. Let's get into the pickups. There is one other thing I did want to say though. I'm actually going to be doing this pickup in two parts. The reason I say that, I'm going to kind of keep under wraps until part 2 comes out, but when that happens, I think by the title and the content that I will have, I think you'll kind of understand why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So the first part here, the set of manga I'm going to show you is just pretty much going to be updates of series that I already own. So nothing new, you know, nothing incredibly spectacular, but still nonetheless very good volume. So starting off, we have Nichijou Volume 8, and then again, a very good volume in this series. We are actually winding down on the Nichijou releases. The last volume, I do believe, is going to be released sometime mid-September. There's 10 volumes in the series, so if you're just now jumping into it, you know, it's a very short one that I would recommend even for someone who's just now getting into manga. But pretty much Nichijou, a lot of people, and I've said this before, do try to put this on the same bracket, so to speak, as Azumanga Daioh. And while I do see some similarities between the two series, I see a lot more differences. And honestly though, and I might get a lot of people mad at me, I prefer Nichijou to Azumanga Daioh. Although, when it comes to the anime, that's the other way around. I actually prefer Azumanga Daioh to Nichijou. So, but again, fantastic series. I highly recommend that you pick this up if you haven't already. And then my next one is actually a long time coming, and you know, I've wanted to start getting back into the series again just because it's been so long. But here we have Volume 4 of Pokemon Adventures, and this is the Red and Blue arc. And this is actually not the original print. The Pokemon Adventures has been going on for quite a long time. And for those of you who are not aware, this is not an adaptation of the anime, this is an adaptation of the video games. So if you're looking for similarities between this and the anime, then you're going to be just straight out of luck. Pokemon Adventures is a very solid series. And it's one of those series, even though it has gone on for so many years, you can actually pick it up pretty much any place that you want to. So again, I'm starting off with the Red and Blue arc, and I will eventually get the Gold and Silver arc, because those were my favorite video games in the series. But if you prefer, let's say, Ruby and Sapphire or Diamond and Pearl Black and White, you can pick up there and be just fine. So these really aren't, it doesn't really continue that entire time like following the same story. So again, Pokemon Adventures, solid manga, high recommendation for me. And the next one here is Yona of the Dawn, Volume 5. Again, a very solid volume. Actually, honestly, one of my favorites so far. I absolutely love the anime, and I've said this before. There are still, even in Volume 5, there's a lot of similarities between it and the anime, so I can't really say at this point which one I like better. But I think starting like in Volume 6 or 7, it kind of does follow its own story. Now, I could be very wrong on that. But we'll just see what happens when other volumes come out. So again, this is another one I recommend if you haven't picked up already. And these actually, just a little tidbit, these are actually really cheap on Amazon. I want to say the first 2 or 3 volumes I got on Amazon for like less than $5. So keep an eye out if you're really interested in picking this up. Keep an eye out on Amazon. You can really get these cheap. And the next one One Piece Volume 82. And I actually have to say, this is one of the nicer covers I've seen in quite a while. But again, guys, it's One Piece. It doesn't really need an explanation. Definitely my favorite of the big three. I actually gonna deviate from this just a little bit. I did give Bleach a chance a while back, and it didn't really catch on to me, but I am looking into it again. So, and now that the series is coming to, well, it actually has ended in Japan, but there's still a few volumes left to release here in the States. But I think once it finishes releasing, I'm going to look into getting like the box sets and, you know, whatnot to get back into the series. But nonetheless, getting back to One Piece again, it needs no explanation. It's One Piece. It's awesome. It will always be awesome, regardless of what anyone says. And again, if you haven't gotten into One Piece, I know 82 volumes seems like a lot, but trust me, do not let that length scare you out of your wits by any means. You can get the first 70 volumes in box sets, and they're going for fairly cheap on Amazon. So if you're just now getting into One Piece, that would probably be your best option to go, because you definitely will save a ton of money with box sets. And I did a whole video about my take on box sets, so I'll make sure to have a link to that in the video description. All right, next up we have Haikyuu Volume 10 and Volume 11. And again, as I've stated before, I'm not big into sports manga, but Haikyuu is that one exception. And I'm not even a volleyball person either. I sucked at it when I was in school, and I still suck at it today. But again, this is a very, very solid shonen manga, and it actually is, for shonen manga, it's really clean, and it's really appropriate. I wouldn't mind handing this to like a preteen or even a child. My nephew, he just turned, no, it wasn't my nephew actually. It was one of my nieces that's getting into manga. She's wanting to get in a little deeper, but she's still kind of young, so, she's a sporty type girl, so I'm thinking about introducing this to her. But if you have a child, they're into sports, Haikyuu is definitely a good recommendation. All right, next up, we got Cells at Work. We have Volumes 3 and Volume 4. Very interesting. As I've stated before, I do work in the healthcare field, so when I heard about this manga, it really, really appealed to me. Basically, what this is about its... I apologize. I'm trying to do this in one take, guys. You have to bear with me. So basically, this manga, it's about different cells in your body, like your red cells, white cells, platelets, you know, that sort of thing. And they come together to fight off different ailments in the body, like different types of illnesses. You have your allergens, injuries, that type of thing. But it's educational, but it's also quite hilarious. And I find that really awesome, because there's not too many manga out there about healthcare. So this is definitely one of my favorites just for that reason. Even the doctors that I work with are finding this to be pretty comical. So again, this is another recommendation from me. The volumes are a little pricey, even on Amazon, but if you can find it, if you can afford it, or if you can find it a little cheaper, then again, I definitely recommend that you pick that up. All right, we're almost done here. Got a few more to go. The next one here is Sweetness and Lightning, and the content in the volume itself is absolutely wonderful. Again, this is a very, very good manga to get into. Very heartwarming. It kind of, in a way, reminds me a little bit of Yotsuba. It's there's a little more depth to it than Yotsuba has, but again, it's a very, very sweet manga, very, very cute. The only thing with this volume, and I didn't realize it until I had this a few weeks, I don't know if you can see it right there, but the cover is ripped. And I am none too happy about this, because this was actually in an Amazon package. And I really wish I would have noticed that ahead of time, because I would have gotten a replacement for it, but I might replace this volume down the road. It just all depends. I might stick it back in my shelf and forget about it too. But again, Sweetness and Lightning, definitely check it out. All right, and the last little bit, bear with me here. I have the last two collector's editions of Fruits Basket, 11 and 12. So, as I stated before many times, I wanted to wait until I had all of these volumes before I started reading it, which I have kept on my promise on that. I'm currently on volume 8, about not quite halfway through volume 8. But this is actually a really, really good series. I got into the first two books not really grasping the story quite yet. And even in volume 3, I was beginning to think, did I just waste a ton of money? Did I make a big mistake by getting into this series? But as you go, the story gets a lot more interesting, and you find out a lot more, and things start to make more sense. So if you're just not getting into Fruits Basket and you're not quite grasping it, give it a little bit of time. Just keep going, keep pushing forward, and trust me, it'll eventually become a great experience for you. So that wraps up part 1 of my manga pickups for April and May 2017. I will have part 2 up within the next couple of days. And then again, this is probably actually one of my favorite pickups that I've had. Even a lot better than my pickup where I had 90 volumes. So I won't have quite that many this time, but part 2, you'll find out exactly why I'm so hyped about this. But anyway, guys, it's nice being back. If you like what you see, by all means, make sure you leave a comment. Any type of suggestions are more than welcome. I'm trying to grab my footing. I'm trying to find my place here on YouTube. Any type of help would be much appreciated. And you guys, my few subscribers that I do have, you guys are wonderful for sticking with me and being patient. I know sometimes when I get on camera, I am scatterbrained. That's just how I've been all my life. But again, I'm just trying to find my place here. So any help that you guys can give me, I will grab on it with both hands, and I will not let go. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later.